78% of buyers go with the first company that responds, yet the average sales team takes 42 hours to respond to their leads. I've built a system that will respond to all of your leads within 5 minutes, which will increase your response rate, your booking rate, and your conversion rate. So let's go straight to it. So as per usual, this system is built within Zapier, and the idea is it's for service-based businesses. So you should be advertising your services on Facebook ads or Google ads or on your website, and you should have this form embedded in that. And then essentially people who are interested in your service for their business will fill out the form. So let's quickly take a look at what content is within the form. So pretty basic stuff at the top. We've got first name, last name, email address, company name. But then this step here, company URL, is the real value of this system. So essentially they'll paste their company URL for the company that they work for into this form, and we will gather that and then feed it into the later steps of our Zap. All these fields are required. The only one that isn't is the role or job title. It's an optional field just because it's not quite as important, but they can fill it out if they want to. So you can see that's step one of our Zap built. Step two, I wouldn't worry about that. It's just something that tidies it up a little bit more, but it's not really necessary to go through in this tutorial. And then step three is Gmail. So we're pulling the email address from the form submission. So this is the person who's just submitted the form who wants our service. So we're pulling the email address from the form, and this is who the email is being sent to. So this email step here is not the value. This is not the personalized follow-up system, which I was talking about. This is something that's just quickly we can fire off and it'll keep the lead engaged. So it's essentially a confirmation of receipt of their form submission. So we'll just say, hi, Adam, because that's the name from the form. Just a quick note to say we've received your submission. Thanks for reaching out. We pride ourselves in getting back to our clients, yada, 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 and our team is on it and we'll get back to you within 225 seconds, all the best, whatever. So it's essentially just, this is an automation email. We're not trying to hide this. It's just, yep, we've got your form submission and we're on it. Okay, next step. This is where the value starts. So essentially we're using a tool called Firecrawl. It is a web scraper. So what's this going to do? It's going to take the company URL they provided within the form submission, and what it's going to do is going to scrape that. So what that means is it's going to take all the information from that website they provided, and it's going to allow us to use that to inform our personalized email later in the Zap. So essentially, Firecrawl does have a native Zapier integration, but every time I tried to use it, I just kept getting errors. It didn't go right. But I've used it before on relevance tools. So I just thought, I'll make a relevance tool which uses Firecrawl, and then what I can do is I can use the relevance step within Zapier to call my relevance tool. And essentially I'll show you the relevance tool. Literally all it has is the input is the company URL, and then it goes to Firecrawl web scraper, and then the output is the scraped content of the URL. So literally all that is, it's a one-step tool. It's kind of redundant, but this is just the workaround I found that actually allowed me to make Firecrawl work within Zapier, because the native integration just was not working for me. So yes, this is on Relevance AI, but essentially you can just substitute this step for Firecrawl itself. If that can work for you, then by all means go and do that. You don't need to do this on Relevance AI. This is just something that I found as sort of a workaround to make it work for me. So this is essentially scraping the URL, getting the information back, and then bringing that back into our Zap. So quickly, the good thing about Firecrawl specifically is, unlike a lot of these free web scraping tools, they will literally just scrape the exact link that you pasted. So that exact page of the website, like for example, if it's the homepage, it will just scrape the homepage. But what Firecrawl does, it will crawl through all the sub pages of that website, and you can get so much more information, which you can then use for systems like this. And then we've got this ChatGPT step here. Essentially what this is doing is when Firecrawl scrapes the website for us, it returns the content in JSON format, which isn't really that readable or easy on the eye. So what this is doing is essentially very basic prompt. Is just, summarize the output of the previous step and provide it in plain English. So I'm not going to go into the prompt too much on this step, but that's all it's doing. It's basically giving us a plain language summary of the JSON response we just got from the scraper tool. And then this ChatGPT step here, this is the real value. This is the personalized lead follow-up that is actually valuable. That's what makes this system provide value for the business who uses it. So I will quickly dive into the prompt that I crafted for this. So markdown formatting as usual. role. You're an experienced B2B sales professional, just setting the tone, making it known like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is the experience I'm drawing off of. Based on the provided company overview below, which is here, this is the dynamic field, which is essentially the output of the plain language summary. You should write a short and personalized email in response to the lead filling out a form on our website or Facebook ad post. Okay, and then we have context. Our business is a service-based business, yada, yada, yada. Then we have requirements. So essentially, the process I've found with prompt engineering a lot of the time is you write a prompt, you test the output, and then you just add more to the prompt to fix it. Because I did the first run of this, and the output, it worked, but it just came back like really robotic. Like it had scraped the web page and it had read all the information, but it just kind of listed off all the features of the business, and it didn't sound like a human had written it. So then essentially what you can do is in the requirements, just add everything, amend every error that presents itself, because when you're writing these prompts, it's kind of impossible to know exactly what's going to go wrong and what the output is going to be like until you've done it. So you kind of just have to do the output, see, okay, it's doing this weird thing which I don't like, and then you can go back and say, do not do that, stop saying that. So yeah, the requirements is kind of hefty for this prompt, just because there are a few like amendments that I wanted to make, really fine tuning this to make sure it was up to scratch. And then we have an example, because when you're doing prompt engineering, providing an example of like a good output of what you want it to look like drastically increases the sort of consistency of how the model will actually respond and give you what you want. So yeah, I provided a little example of like what the email should look like, and then we have some output requirements as well. And then final step on the Zap is the Gmail step. So once again, this is very simple, but this is now when we're actually sending the personalized email. So once again, we're pulling the email address from the form. So this is still the email address of the lead, the person who submitted our form as in response to our Facebook ad or our Google ad or whatever it was. And essentially the body of this email is once again, hi Adam. And then we literally just paste in the dynamic field from the previous GPT step, which is the email generation. So yeah, this is the reply. And then we have thanks Adam's agency. So one more additional piece of information I need to add about the system is it is also integrated with the company's booking system. So within the final email output, there will also be a Calendly link, which allows the lead to book in at a time which works for both him and the salesperson. So you can book on a call immediately as a result of receiving that personalized email. So now that we've been through all the steps of the system and I've shown you how it works, I think the only thing left to do is give it a spin. So I'll be doing this from the perspective of the lead. So I'll be the person submitting the form as a result of seeing it from the Google ad or the Facebook ad or the website, however they were advertising their services. So this is essentially what the lead will see from their point of view. So we'll be filling in the form, I'll provide it with my information, company name, I'll just use a gym. And then the company URL, I'll paste the URL of this specific gym and submit this as my response. So straight after submitting the form, we've had our first email come through. This is just the confirmation of receipt of the form submission, and it says we'll get back to you within 225 seconds. So only thing to do now is wait for the next one to come through. And just like that, 2 minutes later, we've had our fully personalized email reach our inbox. So you can see this is actually feeding in the information from the URL I provided. So I was impressed to learn about your space to Inside's commitment to fostering a supportive community for all fitness levels. Yada, yada, yada. It's great about this. At Adam's agency, we specialize in providing top-notch cleaning services. So that was sort of the knowledge base I provided for my GPT steps in the system. I imagine that was sort of a cleaning service provider. So of course, a gym would be kind of like the ICP for that sort of business. That's why I used a gym as the company URL. And then the final piece of value of the system, as you can see, I'd like to have a chat with you about how we can help your business. Please check the following link and grab a time that suits you. So this is the calendar link I was talking about. You can click this and here we go. So this calendar link will be synced up to the Google Calendar of the salesperson, and it will dynamically load in all the times that they are available to book a meeting with the lead. Here you can see this has got every time available simply because I used a dummy Google Calendar account. I don't actually have anything added to that. But you can imagine a salesperson would have their actual availability linked here, and that is just sent directly to the lead via email. And this is something we've been able to make happen within just 5 minutes of that form submission. So you can imagine how much this will increase the conversion rate compared to spending 42 hours waiting for the average salesperson to get back to their leads. If you found this video useful, or you're interested in finding out what AI solutions could do for your business, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I'll respond to everything, and I'm interested in hearing your guys' thoughts.